Lack of affordable housing, one of the biggest issues facing New York City. Now Mayor Adams is hoping to turn things around with a wildly ambitious plan to build 500,000 homes over the next decade.
Fox 8's Morgan McKay sat down with the city's deputy mayor in an exclusive interview to talk about how the administration is tackling this housing crisis. Morgan.
Steve, Natasha, there are numerous reasons why the city is facing a housing shortage, but there are a few proposals the city needs state lawmakers to tackle this year if they are even to get close to that goal.
As daunting as this housing crisis is in New York, it is not unsolvable.
It's a city with more than 8 million people, but the lack of housing supply has led to astronomically high rents. In just the last decade, housing costs skyrocketed by more than 68%, according to a recent report by the state comptroller.
Over the past decade, we've added about 800,000 jobs, Morgan, but only 200,000 new homes.
The Adams administration has created a new goal to build 500,000 new homes over the next decade. But there are a series of hurdles that would first need to be addressed. And a lot of those hurdles are based up in Albany. Last year, Governor Kathy Hochul pitched an ambitious housing plan that received major pushback. In the end, state lawmakers couldn't come to an agreement with the governor, and all parties walked away accomplishing nothing major on housing.
What we cannot have is another session where all of our aspirations and awareness of this housing crisis don't translate into real actions.
In an exclusive interview with Deputy Mayor Maria Torres Springer, she outlined a list of proposals the mayor's administration is looking from Albany this year to create more housing. At the top of the list is to use already existing buildings, mainly office buildings.
There's more than 100 million square feet of outdated office space, and what that could translate into are 20,000 new homes for New Yorkers.
However, this requires two things from the state legislature: zoning changes and tax incentives.
The floor plates don't always lend themselves to easy conversions. There are rules in the books in terms of light and air requirements.
One big tax incentive that was allowed to expire is 421A. It was put in place 50 years ago and requires developers to make a certain percentage of units affordable. But it's extremely controversial, and left-leaning lawmakers say it is a giveaway to big developers. But without it, Torres Springer says housing projects are at risk of being stalled.
There are tens of thousands of units that kind of hang in the balance. We can and we should have healthy debates over the structure of the said tax incentive. But also part of our job is to make sure at the end of that process, we have real tools that bring real relief to New Yorkers.
Some lawmakers are looking to replace it by requiring that developers dedicate a larger number of units as affordable. Other lawmakers want to see tenant protections added into a housing package, such as good cause eviction. This bill would require landlords to produce a reason to evict tenants and would restrict rent increases. The Adams administration won't say definitively if they will back the measure that's on the table, but left it open-ended.
We need to get to yes on a package that makes sense, that protects tenants, that boosts supply, that keeps in mind the particular needs, for example, of small landlords.
Now, the Adams administration is also looking to state lawmakers to legalize basement apartments and to lift the cap on density to allow for new construction. Steve, Natasha?
Yeah, Morgan, a very ambitious plan. Do you think they can come to an agreement? Anything can be done this year?
So everyone agrees this is a year for housing, but the state legislature is a little bit further left than the governor, so tenant protections are really important for them. But housing negotiations last year completely fell apart, and everyone walked away from the table without accomplishing anything. And the two state legislattive leaders released a statement at the end of the legislative session last year, pretty critical of the governor for not coming to an agreement with them on things like tenant protections. But this year there does seem to be more of an appetite to get things done, but it has to be done before the end of March. It has to be done within this budget negotiations. Otherwise, it's unlikely to get done before the end of the year.
Obviously, the landlords are going to have a lot to say to the changes to good cause evictions. limiting
Exactly.
rent increases and whatnot.
Exactly. Now, Governor Kathy Hochul was super against it last year, good cause eviction, as well as Mayor Eric Adams. So this is one that's going to be a big hang up for them because it's going to impact smaller landlords being able to raise their rent. So we're going to see how that works out. They're probably going to have to come to some sort of negotiation on this. I don't see a housing package without some sort of tenant protections being passed in the state legislature this year. But again, the governor really loses her power after the budget negotiations end. So they're going to be really looking to finish this up before beginning of March or April.
Yeah, a lot of work to do and not a lot of time left. All right, very well,
Exactly.
Morgan, thanks.